powering the feature of the Salesforce industries. Okay, we will be understanding in detail of this sentence, why we have given this kind of sentence. Okay, below to the velocity. Okay, in couple of minutes, maybe in 10-15 minutes, you'll get a clarity why this sentence is given. Okay, this is our agenda today. What, why, and how, and again, what is the Salesforce with velocity? Okay, how it is different means, even though we can achieve the applications whatever we are expecting with the Salesforce, but why we need to use the velocity? Okay, that we'll see. An introduction to industry clouds, and then we move to the some features of the velocity. So what are the targeted industries velocity will be using? Then we move to the architecture of the velocity, components of the velocity, by using which components we can develop the applications. Then after that we'll see a quick demo also. Okay, fine, let's get started now. So I just give a small recap of the Salesforce. Means actually what is the Salesforce, why the applications are using the Salesforce. Then we move to the velocity. Okay. Now let's take a small scenario. Okay, you are building one application. You are creating one application which is targeting to one certain client. Okay. Okay. The very first thing what you need to discuss is how you need to go ahead with this new application. Okay, prerequisites to create any application, that is you need some hardware first of all. Okay, which kind of server you need to use, which kind of laptop, what is the RAM size, okay, what is the storage, all those things you need to think of it. Okay, because some kind of softwares like Oracle, or there are some compatibilities are there. Okay, Java is having some compatibility. Okay, so or Linux you need to use, which operating system you need to use, all this stuff you need to discuss first of all. Okay, then after that you need to go ahead which kind of softwares you need to use. Maybe if you want to develop with client server architecture, then you can go with Java, or you can go with .NET. Okay, these are the things you need to select. Then after that what you will do, you will be selecting the database where you need to store the data. Maybe you can go for MySQL or Oracle or any other database. Okay, once you select all these things, you need some server also to deploy your application. Okay, whether it is a Tomcat server or it is a WebSphere, whatever it is. Okay, it depends upon your application. Okay, then once you uh, come up with all this idea and software, hardware, everything, environment, right? Then you start working on it. Maybe if you need any licenses to purchase, you have to purchase, and you start your application development, right? Then after that what happens is you need sometimes what happen, the application, the software which you purchased like Java, .NET, whatever, they will be releasing some updates in between. Okay, maybe they will deprecate some existing functions method which you are using. They will introduce some new methods also. Okay, so in that scenario what happen, you need to do some maintenance activity. You need to look back to your code. If is there any alternate code is there which is having a more performance, you can replace it with. Or sometimes there are some methods which are deprecated, you need to comment that code or remove that code. Okay, like that. Means end of the day what I'm trying to say is we need some maintenance activity also. Okay, so all these things we will be having. To deployment also we need some tools and all. Okay, so and apart from these things, some other problem is some applications are not user friendly to the mobile apps. Again, you need to develop some separate kind of coding for a mobile apps also. Okay, so all this is a classic legacy platform development. Actually it will take around 6 months to 12 months, depends upon your application size actually. Okay, so this is the way how we were using before Salesforce. Okay, now let's come to the Salesforce, the same application which you want to develop with the Salesforce. What you need to do, all the idea whatever you are having, you no need to go with purchase any like software, Java, .NET, any other thing, database, no maintenance activity, nothing else. You need to have only the internet connection. That's all, and of course you need to purchase some Salesforce licenses. That will be taken care of from your company and all. Okay, so with this, your job is done now. Whatever application you can do, you can have your own platform is there. You can, if it is a coding, then you can go with Apex, or it is a UI based, and you can go with the Lightning, LWC. A number of things are there, you can make use of them. You can create an application to the Salesforce. Okay, whether it is targeting to any specific industry like telecom industry, or whether it is targeting to one health insurance industry, whatever the industry it is, you can develop application with the Salesforce only, because it is having its own standard updates. On top of that, you can have some more custom objects. You can build your data model as per the client requirement. Okay, this is the story, miss, why we need to go with the Salesforce and all. Okay, so can we move forward? Any questions you are having here? Fine, right? We'll move forward.
Sorry, Ashish, here got a question.
Yeah.
You're saying that so we deploy the software code and maintenance for industries rather than they have their own software team, right?
No, they have. You're telling before Salesforce how you used to develop application. That I was telling. Not we do. They will only deploy everything. But the thing is, if they're deploying after they release their new version, okay, you need to do some changes in your application also. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Maintenance activity we used to do if you're not using Salesforce. But if you're using Salesforce, doesn't matter. Every 3 months you will be having a new releases, but you no need to do anything for that. Automatically code will be updated, and it will be run perfectly as it was running. Okay, so this is how we use the Salesforce now. Okay, now let's take a scenario. You need to develop an application for the specific industry. Okay, like health insurance industry is there. Okay, health insurance industry is there, but you are having a n number of projects which is having on the same health insurance. Okay, then what you will do, you'll figure out, we will create one data model. First of all, you create a data model for that. What are the things we are having in insurance, right? We are having a pre-authorization. Generally nowadays everybody is having some health insurance, right? In health insurance, how many models we are having? Mostly very commonly speaking models are pre-authorization model. If somebody is going to hospitalize or somebody need to take some treatment, what he will do, he need to fill some pre-authorization form. Okay, then he need to submit some claims also. Claim is also a separate module. Okay, on top of that, referrals also having some other model. Means one hospital you're going, right, there is no proper treatment is there for XYZ people, right? They will refer to some other hospital. Like these kind of models are especially targeted for health insurance only. Okay, so which means you need a separate data model for this particular industry. Okay, now take another example. Now if you're taking some communication example, right? Any application you're developing for telecommunication like Vodafone, Airtel, Idea, anything you can take, right? There you are having a separate data model. Unlike the pre-authorization, claims, referral, you are having a billing. You are having separate data packages. Means what are the plans you are going to purchase? Under that plans, which kind of features you are having? Like you may have some data usage, okay, calling, free calling, SMS, all those things you are having, right? So so that is a separate database for communication model actually. Okay, so here what I mean to say is, for separate domains, for health insurance domain we are having a separate database. For communication domain, again we are having a separate data model. Again for media and entertainment also, separate data models will be there. Okay, some how many subscriptions are there, based on the subscription, premium subscription, diamond subscription, gold subscription, right? Based on that only they'll having their own packages, right? So again is a separate data model. So what I mean to say is, if you use a plain classic Salesforce, you need to build the data model according to the domain. Okay, but can you think one small scenario? If somebody is providing the pre-built data model to you, you can just make use of that and you can develop your application. But it is targeting to specific industry. Now let's consider you are preparing one application for health insurance. You need to install one package which is related to health insurance package, health insurance, right? If you install that, automatically your Salesforce will be uh, generated some custom objects, data models, everything will be there. If you are working for any communication, okay, right, like Vodafone or something else, right? Again you are having a separate package which we need to install. Okay, by installing that, your data model is ready. Okay, just you need to make use of that data model and proceed for the development. Okay, So here the velocity come into the picture. The velocity is doing the same thing which I told you just now. Okay, so velocity is nothing but, now if you go to the written definition of velocity, velocity is built natively on the Salesforce. First of all, it is built natively on the Salesforce platform and it's a leading provider for in, industry specific solutions, which means it is of course taking most of the features from the Salesforce, but on top of Salesforce it will plug in some more features, some more data models. Okay, not only data models, many things are there which will be added on to the Salesforce platform, which will make you to speed means develop your application very speedily for targeted industries. Okay, so if you see this diagram, you will get more idea. Actually, this is a Salesforce, right? And if you see this is industry specific packages will be there. Okay, that is nothing but a related to that particular industry, which industry you are developing application. So if you mix both of this, it will become a velocity only. So this is the background of the velocity. What is the velocity? This is the information about it. So any questions here?
Yeah. So let's say if I want to build some application for insurance domain,
Okay,
then Velocity is going to provide data model related to that insurance domain only.
exactly.
But so we need to first, coordinate with Velocity in
Mhm.
order to get that data model, or is it is going to provide all the data model for every industry specific?
No, no, it's industry specific only. If you want to
Okay.
create any data model, you want to have a pre-built data model for insurance, right? We are having a separate package like Velocity INS. The package is
Okay.
called Velocity INS. That package you need to install so that the all data models which related to insurance will be mounted on your Salesforce.
Oh, got it.
Similarly,
Got it.
if you want to develop for any communication, we are having a CMT data model, that you CMT package actually, that you need to install actually.
Thanks.
Okay,
That's clear model. Yeah.
yeah,
Kumar, I have one question.
sure, sure.
First is, do we have separate access for Velocity, or will it be the same access which we use for Salesforce?
For production actually you don't need to have anything, just you need to install the packages. But when you're learning velocity, you want to practice velocity, right? In that
Yeah.
case, the way how you create any developer arc, right? Similarly you can create a developer arc.
Okay.
You have a link, just you have to give the basic information how you create a developer arc for Salesforce, right? Email ID,
Okay.
your name, state, that's all. You'll receive
Yeah.
an email, you can try.
Okay, fine. And you said like Velocity is like a package on top of Salesforce application.
Correct.
So is it still the same, or do we have any other ways of accessing Velocity?
That is the one way, means when you are practicing you need to just create there will be one link actually. In that link you need to give the basic information. Sandbox will be created for you.
Okay. No, so consider I have a project on Salesforce which is
Okay,
live since so many years. So now I want to introduce Velocity to my project. So in this case, I have to install Velocity package in Salesforce, or
yeah,
will there be any other way?
no, in that case you need to install the Velocity package.
Okay, sounds
Since it
good.
is a live, you are working on a system, right? A company, then you need to install that packages.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Can we move forward?
Yep.
Yeah, this is also similar diagram actually what I'm giving. If you see the topmost diagram here, if you see, this is the same Salesforce object only. If you see, it's only Salesforce objects. Contact is there, account is there. One account is having more than one contact. That's all, simple. But if you see, Velocity added to Salesforce in a below picture, Velocity plus Salesforce. Here you can see n number of objects here. Maybe it's CMT, I think, because of, if you see, mobile device, okay, mobile plan, subscriber, okay, service point, all those things are there. Billing profile, delivery method, everything is there. So after installing the CMT package, which is targeted for communication domain, it will look like this. This is a data model actually. Okay, yeah. Now we'll discuss about the Velocity architecture actually. Okay, if you see this diagram, the light blue color, whatever you are seeing, right? That is nothing but a Salesforce actually. Okay. On top of Salesforce, if these people might be installed some CMT package. So Velocity Digital Interaction Platform. Okay, this will be installed. Okay, and on top of that only we are having all the flavors, whether it is a insurance, health, public sector, doesn't matter anything, right? But as I told you, data model couple of times. Apart from the data model, Velocity will give uh, some other tools also. Okay, by using those tools you can call components, we can build the applications more easier way. Okay, those tools are nothing but this. If you see the orange color bar, right? Data Raptor. Okay, OmniScript is there, cards. Okay, EPC, CPQ, these are nothing but Velocity CPQ modules actually. So this is how the Velocity architecture will look like. On top of the Salesforce, we have Velocity, and on Velocity, we are having a number of components. Okay, okay. Here we'll see some features of the Salesforce. Sorry, Velocity. Okay, what are the main features of the Velocity? Okay, once you install the Velocity, first thing is data model. That is for sure. Okay, if you want to create any complex data model kind of thing, you don't need to create any new objects, you don't need to create any relations. Okay, automatically that is there. Okay, on top of that, these features will come. Okay, drag and drop. What is drag and drop means? Now let's consider you need to create a form. Okay, now create a form means let's consider you're capturing one insurance. Somebody want to take the insurance. Okay, insurance policy, then you need to capture some information from the client, right, user, right? The first step will be his name. Okay, username. Okay, so once you there is one button here, we click on next button. I need to navigate him to the next page. Okay, in the next page, what he need to fill? He need to fill the policy details, which policy you need to take. We'll be having some drop down here. In the drop down, he has to select one policy, whether it's a floating policy or family related policies. Okay, like this. So this is a premium. Premium will be automatically calculated according to his details actually. Okay, again we are having a submit button here. Once you click on the submit button, you need to upload some documents here. Okay, again you are having a file uploads here. So this is the final step. Okay, if you click this submit, this is end actually. This is the end of flow. So point number one here is we need to create a form here. Okay, to create this kind of form, what we will do, we'll be creating maybe without using Velocity, we can go for Visualforce page or Lightning or LWC. So for this, what we'll do, we'll simply make HTML code or Lightning code. Okay, all these things we need to create. We need to create multiple pages, file uploads, all those things. So to create all these things, at least it will take around 1 day time, right? Around 1 day time, we need to write lot of code. Maybe it's a copy paste from the Google, but still we need to do lot of things, right? If you want to submit here, you need to perform some database app operation. Okay, in between you need to perform many HTTP action, means you need to hit some third party. Okay, all these things you need to write a code, right? But if you are using Velocity, these things are no need to write any code. Okay, just a drag and drop. Okay, how I will show in the demo session. Okay, just you need to drag and drop here. Okay, then your job is done. You need to give some label names, what kind of label it is. Is it a text or is it a number? Date field, it's date picker is there, everything you need to just give a information. That's all. After drag and drop, you need to set the properties for that particular element. That's all. Okay, that is the first feature actually. Okay, easy to build UI components, because here CSS also it is inbuilt actually in the FlexiCards and all, right? You can have a inbuilt CSS. Okay, another thing is you no need to build anything. Everything is in a JSON format. You are pulling some data from third party, right? The data will be coming from as a JSON only, or you are inserting something into the Salesforce. Okay, that also you can create as a JSON only. Okay, whenever you are pulling data from the Salesforce also, you can pull as a JSON only, because JSON is most user friendly way. It's easy to understand. Okay, the structure is very easy to understand actually. Okay, again the fourth point is pre-designed data model. This already we discussed. Okay, all one data model will be given by the Velocity only. Less code in the integration. Less code in the integration means, now let's consider a scenario. In between this, you need to get some data from third party. That what you will do, you need to write at least 10 lines of code, right? Maybe you are using Aura component or you are using LWC. You need to initialize one object, HTTP object. You need to set the method get or post. You need to set the payload. Once it is response is coming, you need to check whether response is success or not. All these things, at least you need to write a 10 lines of code. But here in a Velocity, there is a component called integration procedure. Inside that, you can drag and drop one element called HTTP action. That's all. There you can type everything, means endpoint URL, what you want to give, what kind of a payload you are expecting, what input you want to send. Everything you can mention there only. Okay. Another thing is integrated debugging tools. It's a very important and useful tool. Ideally, what happens when you create any application? Okay, where we stuck many time, right? If something is going wrong, we want to identify what is the root cause. For that time, that only it will take much time. We need to put lot of debugs, right? System.debug or console.log. Like that, you need to run every time. You need to enable debugs and all. You need to check. But here in the Velocity, for each and every component, integrated tool is there. Okay, means whenever you are running, which step you are in, which step is, what is the input, what output you are getting, everything you can see in the debug panel. Okay, that I'll show. Okay, industry CPQ. Industry CPQ also, when you're in, as I told you, if you're in installing this packages, right? CPQ is also a separate package actually. So here what you can do is, unlike the Salesforce CPQ, we are having some more features also here. Okay, which is having EPC is there. Okay, um, product attributes are there, pick list values are there. Okay, other features are there which is targeting for CPQ also. Okay, so these are the main features which are highlighted here.
Sorry, Kumar. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah,
So
please.
you said that industry CPQ. Do we need to learn CPQ separately, or here, because CPQ itself is a module in Salesforce, right?
Correct. But
So
it's a separate model in Velocity also, but it is not that much similar as Salesforce. It's more simplified way actually. Whenever you,
yeah, thank you.
that's the way actually. If you want to configure some products, most of the times in most of the products, it's a one-time activity only. Okay, just to set the initial, based upon the product only. Maybe for the initial days or initial setup, you use this thing. That's all. Okay.
Thank you.
So if you see the targeted industries, okay, as of now, these many industries are using Velocity aggressively. Okay, communications are using, media and entertainment, energy, utilities, insurance, okay, health. These many domains, these many industries are using Velocity across the globe. Yeah, fine. Now, if we discuss about the Velocity components, okay, we want to means here you have to classify components in 3 layers. Okay, first layer is a digital experience, means it's a UI actually. Means how we need to show the data on the UI. Okay, how you want to showing data in two ways. First way is static way, just pull data and show there, and second way is user and interaction. Means you are just now I told this example, right? This example nothing but user is entering something and it's accepting, it's responding as per your uh, inputs, right? This kind of UI is called OmniScript. With the help of OmniScript, we can create this kind of UI actually. Okay. The second thing which you can see FlexiCards. Just you need to pull some data and show it in UI. Then we can go with the FlexiCards. Okay. Then we are having a middle layer something service management. Here database interactions. If you want to insert something, you want to pull some data. Okay. Hit some third party. All those things will come into this service management. Here we are using data raptors and integration procedures. Okay, and finally whatever the code you have written, you have to deploy, right? For that we are using this tools. Actually we are having a idx tool there. We need to install the idx tool, from where we can use this installation. Means how you are sending component from one sandbox to another sandbox, or one sandbox to some git branch. Okay, all these stuffs we can learn in the idx bench tool. Is similar to chain sets and all, how we create, right, in the Salesforce. Similarly we can do here deployments and all. Okay, any queries here? Can we move forward? Okay.
Yeah. Regarding the deployment process.
Yes.
So basically, in the developer work where we will be, doing this practice, there will be option for this DX experience.
No, it's a separate tool actually. We
Oh,
need to install it separately, and that should be linked with your sandbox.
is it like Salesforce CLI, or it is something different?
No, no, it's not Salesforce CLA kind of. It's a separate tool actually. It is having its own user interface actually.
Oh,
Okay, once you install it, it will be
oh,
linked to the your source and target arcs. Okay, from which arc to which arc you need to push the components, and you can have one interface like which component you need to push, which version you need to push. Okay, whether you need to push with dependencies or without dependencies. All this
got
stuff will be there.
got it. Thank you.
Yeah. So this is how we are having a certifications for Velocity Omni Studio. Okay, basically we are having a Velocity developer certification. Then we go for Velocity consultant, industry CPQs, order management, health code. These are means as your experience grow on or depends upon your project requirements, we can do the certifications. But mainly we have to do developer, Velocity Omni Studio developer, consultant, CPQ. These three are mainly now people are using. Health code also we can use, means depends upon the experience levels and all, we can go. Okay, fine. Any queries on the certification part?
Certifications, is it similar to how we do in Salesforce? Like to become Omni Studio consultant, we have to complete Omni Studio developer. Is it that way or?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
basic thing is developer only, correct.
Okay, fine.
So that is all about the velocity and thing. So these are the things which are I'm highlighting when we are doing the training sessions. Okay, first thing is troubleshooting and debugging. Each and every example what we discuss in the training sessions, right, we'll do troubleshooting also. Means wantedly we'll put some bug in the code and we'll try to troubleshoot it, how to debug and all, we'll see. Okay, and performance also. Ideally what happens is if you're learning this velocity, they keep on learning, but uh, we have to think in a Salesforce way also. Means how when we are working on the Salesforce, what we should do inside the for loop, we never put some any DML statement, right? So how that kind of scenario can be handled in the velocity. So performance issues, how we tackle with the performance issues with respect to velocity, and what are the best practices in each and every component. If you go with OmniScript, Data Raptor, integration procedures, okay, whichever component you take, we are having a set of test practices actually. Okay, how we have to follow them, this we need to focus. Okay, security also means similar to Salesforce profile level, if you want to hold some data, give some security to the profile level, right? We'll give some permissions, field level securities are there, right? All these things how we can handle for Salesforce velocity, that also we'll learn. Transaction management also, if you are inserting some data into database, okay, uh, let's consider you are inserting data into two different uh, objects, right? So even though there's different objects, okay, it's interdependent. If one object is inserted properly, another is not inserted, it should be rolled back. Okay, this kind of things how we have to manage. All these things we can discuss in the course. Okay, so this is about the quick information about the velocity. Okay, now let's move to the demo. Till now we have any questions? Okay, fine then. Okay, once you log in into the sandbox, right, velocity sandbox, okay, this will be looks like. Once you log in here, maybe you will be landed to sales or service, right? That is a very common thing. Okay, from here you need to jump to the Omni Studio. We can see Omni Studio is there, right? So inside this Omni Studio, if you click here, you can see all list of components here. Omni scripts are there, velocity cards are there, uh, integration procedures, calculation procedures, matrices, templates. Okay, all these components are there. Okay, now let's take a scenario, the scenario whichever we discussed just now here, right? Okay, this how we need to build. I'm not going to build entire thing here, just I will tell you how easy to build here. Okay, by using OmniScript. Obviously we need to use the OmniScript there, right? Okay, if you see, this is the screen which we are going to discuss about. Okay, if you see the screen, we are having a 4 steps here. First step is we are capturing personal information. Second step is address information. I'm clicking on this thing, right? You can understand this is step. Navigation bar is there, address info. Third info is policy information. Finally is terms and conditions, and here we can have option to add documentation also. Okay, so if you see this particular step, right, we are having one name is there. Okay, some email ID field is there, telephone field. Okay, two date fields are there. We are having a radar button here. Okay, source means how you get to know about this particular health insurance company. Okay, this is source. There are two kind of radar buttons here. Okay, then again if you go to the next, you are having a city here. This city, if you see, this is called type ahead block, means whatever you are typing, it will give suggestions to you. Okay, and based on the city, automatically pin code will be populated. And this is a specific to the this particular example. Don't think every time this should happen like this. Just prepare this kind of thing, that's all. Here I need to select the policy information. Again, this is a lookup actually. So these many 4 steps I'm creating here, right? So now let's see how these steps are created. Now I'm going to personal information. Okay. The first thing is, if you open any Omni script here, right? This will be look like this Omni script name is policyholder create flow. Okay, policyholder create flow. Here you can see small boxes here, right? These boxes are nothing but steps. Whichever the steps we already shown here, those are these steps. Person information is there. This is the step. Inside the person, if you open it, so you can see here heading is there. Okay, this is one step. Inside this, we are having a text field. Okay, this text field, you can see properties are there. What label you need to maintain. All the properties you can select here. What is the maximum size, minimum size. Okay, this is one thing. Apart from this thing, if you open the email option is there. Okay, now how all these things are created. Okay, now let me deactivate this thing, because unless until you don't deactivate the current version, you can't drag and drop, you can't modify it. Go to build here. You can see 3 tabs right here: build, properties, and state setup. Here, now let's consider I want to add one more field. Okay, one more field called some area. Okay, then what I'll do, I want to add a text field, simple text field. I'll search for text here. Text inputs, you can see here in the inputs I have text. I'll just drag and drop here. I'll just keep it drag and drop. New text is created here. Area I'm giving here like this. This is the way how we can drag and drop things. This is one small, very small example. Like this, how we can drag and drop into the Omni script, how the components will be drag and drop here. And based on your requirement, you can set the properties. Okay, in between, what we have finally, we are having a data raptor also. Okay, by using data raptor, we can insert the properties whichever you captured right into the Salesforce. Whether you can insert into the Salesforce or you want to pass the information to any third party, you can do that also. Okay, so this is the way how you create the entire thing. Okay, to create this hardly it took me for more 1.5 hour time, that's all. But if you go and create all this stuff in the classic way, means lighting component or LWC, at least it will take 1 day time. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show about the Omni script and all. Any questions you are having? Okay, then we move to the course content now. What are the things we are going to cover into this course? So these are the things we are going to cover in the course. First, we start with some basics actually. Okay, what are the target industries? All we covered. Okay, one more small thing I want to show you. If you go to the preview, right, you can see one thing: action debugger here. Okay, action debugger is nothing but whatever your it's not active. Okay, so whatever data flow is going on, right, that will be shown here. The debugging tool, which I told you, right, it is integrated inside this Velocity only. This tab is available in all the components. Debugging tab for Velocity, integration procedures, FlexiCards, Omni scripts, everywhere. In this way you can do your troubleshooting very easy. Okay,
Is it something similar to Splunk, where you can see error messages?
yes, correct. Okay, first thing we'll start with the data raptors. What is the introduction to data raptor? What are the types of the data raptors? How to include formulas, securities, best practices, and debugging. Debugging will be common for all the components. Okay. Then we move to the integration procedures. We'll discuss all the actions what are available in the integration procedures, how to conditionally render it. Okay. Data binding in the IP. Okay. Then we move to the cards and layout. Mostly we discuss about the flexi cards here, because cards are classic cards are most of the people are not using now. We'll discuss about the flexi cards, how to create a cards, how to send data from parent to child, child to parent, all those things we'll discuss. After the flexi cards, we move to the Omni scripts. This is the important thing. All the functions we'll discuss. What is edit blocks, what is inputs, and one more important point here is whatever the UI you are able to see here. Okay, now let's consider one client is not happy with the current UI which is Velocity is providing. They want to override, they want to give their own branding. In that case, what we can have is one more option you are having. You can override a specific component with the LWC also. Okay, LWC having means you want to create more user friendly CSS, okay, which are not applicable, you are not able to achieve with the Velocity, right? In that case, you can take help of LWC also, which can be overridden with the LWC. I'll show you where it is. Now let's consider this is a step, right? Personal information. In this step, if you scroll down here in the properties, LWC component override. Okay. Now, as of now, I'm having this many components here. You can create a new LWC component. You can map here. So all these properties of this particular step will be overridden with the LWC also. This provision also there. This also we discuss in 2-3 sessions. And some miscellaneous will give a overview of the CPQ and how to override. Actually, overriding is we can override with LWC as well as we can override with AngularJS also. We have two options. We'll see two scenarios also. Maybe we cover 2 sessions for AngularJS and 3 to 4 sessions for LWC also. How to override Omni scripts and all. Then project orientation, we'll create a small mini project actually. Maybe we'll take some health insurance or CMT. Then finally, I'm covering the interview preparation also. How to what are the most frequently asked questions, how to give the answers and all. And how to launch this. Ideally, Omni scripts can be launched from a number of ways, but I will show you how to launch from the community pages also. In fact, the just now example, whatever we have seen, this is a community page actually. Okay, from the community, I'm mapping the Omni script. How these things will be done, we will discuss. And what are the common errors actually, that also we'll cover in the syllabus. Okay. So this is about the demo. If anybody has any question, you can ask.
Yeah, Kumar. So can we also cover events and messaging framework?
That is
in
actually,
Plex?
yeah, that is purely depends to LWC, right?
Yeah. So basically, if I have a Flex card and there is some flyout action happening with OmniScript, and I want to communicate between them. So in that case, how can my OmniScript notify my
Yeah,
previous? Yeah.
yeah,
Those
that we
types of
can, yeah, that we can discuss.
Okay, and the document generation, like some sort of PDF or Word document.
Yeah, document generation already will be covered. PDF action you are asking about, right?
So document foundation, not PDF generation. Sorry, not PDF action. Basically, foundation document generation. So where we can generate documents in the format of PPT, docs, or any kind of supported format.
You mean to say you're having some information. Now let's consider you captured this information, right? 4 steps you are having, right? In the final step, every information should be generated as a PDF, right? You are asking this.
Yeah. So in that case, we can go with PDF action. But let's say we have an example where we have price book, right? So we have a multiple table that can grow.
Okay.
Yeah. So in that case, we need some sort of tools like Kongna Composer, which can have multiple, which can create multiple tables automatically.
Okay,
Because
okay.
I was, yeah. So that is the main, I mean, most of the time that is kind of a requirement that comes in this.
This actually that part will not come into the syllabus, but if you need it, we'll discuss separately. That's not an issue.
Okay. But yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Mostly we'll cover all these things in a 30-hour session, 30 to 35 max. It will take time, not more than 35.
Okay, and what will be the timings for this same time every day?
Not evening, maybe in the morning, I think. Admin will let you know about it.
Okay.
So you all based out of India or any other country?
I'm from India.
Okay.
I'm from
Kumar,
UK.
I have one more question. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So, based on what I understood today, it seems like velocity a bit isn't that tough. So, how do you recommend a new learner to learn velocity? Because I see like many will be learning in next upcoming months.
Correct. I recommend to learn because compared to Salesforce, it's very easy to learn actually. We have less coding and all.
Okay. So right now the market for Salesforce, pretty much like every other developer is now a Salesforce
Exactly.
developer. So will it be same for Velocity as well going forward then?
Going forward, I'm expecting because nowadays if it current example is if you take any CMT project or health insurance project, definitely they are going with Velocity only because we are having lot of features in the Velocity, right?
Yeah.
That's why now going forward, some other things also covering in even the people who are not working on the CMT or insurance domain, though they are working on other domains also, some are the other part of Velocity they are using. They are using at least OmniScript. They are using some CPQ concepts. Some are the other thing they are using actually.
Okay.
After
Kumar,
purchasing, after
which tool
taking,
is the most competitor for Velocity in the market?
excuse me, could you please come back?
So which is the most competent tool when you compare to Velocity in the cloud market?
No, it's not individual to Velocity actually. See, maybe competitor means with the Salesforce only we are having other competitors, but not for Velocity actually. It's just for time reduction means they come up with some new data models which is pre-built packages and all which
Do
will reduce.
you mean there is no Oracle or SAP or competing in this segment?
That is not from now, that is since more than 10-15 years when the Salesforce come into the market, right? By that time onwards it is there. That is not new now. It's just an add-on to the existing Salesforce, that's all. Yeah.